Hey guys, J-Man here with another Spawn comic book review. Today we're going to look at the Scorched number 10. Now, I haven't been reviewing the Scorched comic, and that's just because I started late on Spawn. Just a quick backstory. If you've already seen this before, I'll try to make it quick. I used to collect Spawn back in the day, 1992. I bought issues 1 through 50, never missed one, read them all, loved it. I kind of got out of comics for a little bit, not fully out of comics, but just enough to be like, well, I got to downsize. Unfortunately, Spawn was one of those I ended up selling a lot of my collection. I had to sell a bunch of comics just for some personal reasons. I had to get some more cash, whatever. So I ended up selling them. I actually regret selling them all. And I'm trying to get some of them back. But anyway, I got fed up with DC and Marvel. I wasn't really enjoying the books as much. So I went back to Spawn. I thought, let's, good old reliable Spawn. Let's see how Image Comics is doing. And I started with 300 and on. And then obviously there's Spawn's Universe and there's all these spin-off titles. So I didn't review the other issues, but I'll kind of review them all very quickly. The way I review comic books and movies is using my SPACE technique. SPACE is story, pacing, artistry, characters, and enjoyment. Each category gets a score between 0 and 2. So if I thought the story was really, really, really good, I give it a 2 out of 2. If I thought the story was bad, I give it a 0. And a 1 means it's good. So if a comic book gets 5 out of 10, it gets a 1 in every category. That's pretty good. That means it's a good comic. It's probably something that you want to read. So if a comic gets a 5 or 6 out of 10, it's good for a one-time read. If it gets a 7 or 8 out of 10, it's probably something you're going to want to buy and keep. If it's a 9 out of 10, 9 or 10 out of 10, you're probably going to want to reread it a couple times, have it in your collection, maybe buy toys or whatever. So I also review each comic book based on its own merits, plus the sort of the universe. So I would review Scorched as a Spawn book and as itself. So that means that, like, for example, I gave Gunslinger Spawn 9 out of 10. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that Gunslinger Spawn is better than Watchmen or something like that, or The Dark Knight Returns, or things like that, which are 10 out of 10, right? I'm basing the review against itself. So we're not trying to say, oh, this is better than that, right? It gets a score on its own. So when you buy Gunslinger Spawn, you're going to be getting a 9 out of 10 book, right? Or in some cases, a 10 out of 10. Some issues I thought were 10 out of 10. Okay, Scorched. 1 through 9, let's say. The story, I would say all of the Scorched titles together, if I just lumped it together, I would say the story has been 1.5. I would say the pacing's been 2 out of 2. I would say the artistry's been probably like 1. I would say the characters have been 2 out of 2, and my enjoyment's been like 1.5 or so. So like if you think about it that way, since I didn't really individually rank, go through those issues. So what are we at? That's like a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's like an 8. It's like an 8 out of 10. So between 8, 8.5 out of 10 for every issue. I'm not going to go back and do each one singly. I will do this one though. All right, so issue number 10. Now let's go with the story. I'm going to give the story a 1.5 going on this book. I've been really enjoying it. So 1.5 means it's above average storytelling. And I've really liked the Scorched a lot. I just like the way that the story's been unfolding. You've got this team led by She-Spawn, who is a freaking awesome character. She's great. Jessica Priest. I love Melinda Clarke. She's my favorite actress back in the day. I've met her. I loved her in Return of the Living Dead Part 3. I loved her in Spawn as Jessica Priest. She's awesome. But Jessica Priest in this series has been a great character. She looks freaking awesome. I had the original She-Spawn figure, which was just freaking so cool. And I got the newest figure from McFarlane. It's awesome. I love check that out. She-Spawn is great. So her being the leader of this team is really cool for me. I really like this take. I love getting together all of the Scorched guys, all the Spawns and Redeemer and all that, going on missions and trying to figure stuff out. I think that's wicked. I think it's a great idea. It's a beauty idea. So that's 1.5 out of 2 for me. Okay, the pacing, I'm going to give it a 2 out of 2. These comics are very fast paced. They don't waste a lot of time with bullshit that you don't need. Pacing is what killed the X-Men for me. There's so many X-Men books. They didn't know what to do with them. They just kept bringing more and more out. and half of them were boring, and the ones that were somewhat okay contain a lot of boring elements. That's where X-Men lost me. For 2 years, every Wednesday, I never missed an X-Men review ever until about 2 months ago. And I quit cold turkey. I'm still reading New Mutants, and I'll probably read a little bit of X-Men just because Cyclops is my favorite Marvel character. But yeah, nothing like the pacing of these books, plus Gunslinger, even King Spawn and regular Spawn. These are killer, fast-paced comics. You read it, you're like, wow, I got to read that again because it was so cool. All right, the art on this book is really good. I'm going to give it a 1.5. So far we're at 3, 4, 5. So far we're at 5. We're already past average point. So the art is good. I'm not giving it a 2 out of 2 because sometimes I feel that they could do a little bit better. I think some of the Gunslinger issues were 2 out of 2 for the art. So again, when I'm giving 2 out of 2, when I'm giving a 1.5 out of 2 for art, I'm not saying that this is better than Jack Kirby or this is better than Alex Ross or, you know, John Romita Sr. or something. Like, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that when you're looking at this book compared to what else you're getting for the price, for the quality, how good is that? And that's why I'm giving this a 1.5. And I don't know if spoilers are in effect for comic books. I mean, I don't know how that works. I know for movies you have to wait a certain amount of time, which I don't even care really, like, you know, whatever. But yeah, the art in this is pretty solid. I give it a 1.5 because I do like some of the, I like some of the panels here. I think it flows pretty good. I can kind of tell what's going on. I don't know if you've seen, this is, is spoilers in effect, spoilers. You got Curse here. He looks pretty awesome. Look how awesome that guy is. So yeah, so the story here was that they're all fighting these, just to go back to story, I already gave it 1.5. We're trying to figure out who these devourers, these sin devourer guys are being sent from. So it looks like it's been Curse who's been sending them. So I really like the way that that's developed. But yeah, so the artistry, that's 1.5. So we're at 3, 4, we're at 5 already. Okay, so for characters, I'm giving this 2 out of 2, man. Again, because I'm giving characters a perfect score, I'm not saying that She-Spawn is better than Superman, right? or Batman or something. Like, literally, Superman is my favorite comic book character. He's my favorite character of all time for anything. I'm not saying that medieval Spawn or Gunslinger is better than Batman or Wolverine or Cyclops or whatever. When I give it a perfect score for characters, what I'm saying is that the characters and the way they are in this book, design-wise, look-wise, attitude-wise, the way they all work together is cool, and it's done perfectly. I love the way like Gunslinger is portrayed. I think he's so cool, and I love the backstory with him. And Medieval Spawn, same thing as well. Jessica obviously is great. So I'm giving the characters a 2 out of 2. So we're already at we're at 1.5, 2, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're at 7 out of 10, and we still got a category left. So for enjoyment, I'm gonna give it a 1.5. So we're at 8.5 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10 for Scorched. The reason I didn't give it full marks for enjoyment is that I really am liking this a lot, but like when I read an issue of Gunslinger, I immediately want the next one. This one, I can wait a month. I do want another issue, and I want it to come out. And if it came out quickly, I would read it immediately, but I could wait. It's not like I'm dying to get the next one. Gunslinger Spawn to me is a standout smash hit. Every time one issue comes out, I read it in like 5 minutes. I'm like, I need to get the next issue. Like, we need the next one. But this comic, 8.5 out of 10, that is very high marks. That means that this series is a must collect. You should be getting the physical copies. Get digital copies if you want. I'm totally pro digital, but I do for important comics that I really enjoy. I do like to have the actual comic as well. So yeah, 8.5 out of 10 for the Scorched number 10. This is an awesome comic, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are on the Scorched. Okay. So quick updates. I'm going to be doing a live stream this Thursday. This is going to be the first ever Spawn only live stream. We're calling it Respawn. We're going to respawn to all of the comics that have come out. I couldn't think of a better name. Yeah, what do you want me to do? I'm going to get me and my buddies. We're going to talk about Spawn. And answer questions and talk to the chat. But also, not only that, I am going to be allowing people to come in from the chat into the live stream and talk one-on-one or with the group. You don't need to have your camera. You can just do audio only if you want to. And we'll, depending on how many people there are, we can rotate people in and out. If there's not a lot of people, you can just chat with us. We want to know what you think about Spawn. How are you enjoying it? What's your relationship to Spawn? Have you been there from the beginning? Have you been there from number one? Or did you catch on late, right? Who are your favorite characters? What's your favorite issues? So that's going to be this Thursday, okay, at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, I believe is the time that I set. So definitely check that out. And we want to hear from you. We want to hear what you like about Spawn. Okay, this Friday, we are doing our space opera verses. What that is that we've been taking all these old space opera movies and we've been putting them against each other to see which one is better. And it's a tournament. So we're going to pick the best space opera movie, not counting Star Wars, obviously. These are going to be the Star Wars ripoffs, you know, the ones that try to capture what Star Wars had. And this Friday, we are doing Metal Storm versus Space Hunter. They have long names, they're both 3D, so I'm not going to read the whole name out. Metal Storm and Space Hunter. That is this Friday. Those have been a lot of fun trying to pit these against each other and see which one is better. So that's what's coming up. Guys, as always, I appreciate your comments and your feedback. And if you're a fan of Spawn, let me know. Let's talk about it. It's a cool character. He needs more love, I think. I don't think there's enough people talking about Spawn. But that's it for this week. I will be back next week, and I don't know what I think. Is it Spawn or King Spawn next week? I think it might be King Spawn, actually. So I'll definitely be reviewing that. But all right, guys, until next time.